Poland was a peaceful place. Children merrily played in the streets. Neighbors conversed with one another, and men went to their normal day jobs. It was a beautiful place to live. September 1st, 1939. Nazi Germany invades Poland. The Nazis began taking away Jewish-owned businesses, burning synagogues, and taking away Jewish rights. In the 1940s, all Jews were to report to localized zones. These zones, also known as ghettos, were fenced-off parts of the city or town. The houses located within the ghettos could have 10 families per room, but many of the families lived on the streets. This led to many of the young and old dying of malnourishment or disease. During this time, the German secret police known as the Gestapo began searching homes for any Jews that might be in hiding. The sick, the very old, and the very young were the first to be killed. Some survivor stories say the Germans would take the prisoners, throw them in a pit, and then bury or burn them, even if they were alive. June 6, 1944, better known as D-Day. Western Allied forces began to invade Normandy in order to liberate parts of Europe from Nazi control. This was not only a turning point in the war for the Allied forces, but it was also seen as a glimmer of hope for the people who were being oppressed by German forces, as well as dying in the concentration camps miles away. Meanwhile, thousands of Jews were being brought to the concentration camps and being killed every day. The ones that weren't sent to the ovens right away would have a tattoo placed on their arm and sent to cramped living quarters. In these living quarters, lice and disease spread quickly throughout the prisoners and killed thousands. Many Jews met their fate by the barrels of a firing squad. Also, many Jews died of medical experimentation gone wrong. Some Jews could be minding their own business doing their daily routine and be killed by a guard for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Some survivors say that guards would even bet with one another to see who could kill the most Jews. Most Jews met their fate at the hands of the gas chambers. Nazis would bring them in large groups and then have another group bring the bodies to the ovens for cremation. With the looming threat of Soviet forces on Auschwitz gates, German forces evacuated all but the sick to Dachau. On January 27, 1945, all prisoners that had been left from the evacuation of Auschwitz were liberated by Soviet forces. Then, on April 29th that same year, all prisoners of Dachau were liberated by American forces. Estimated population of Jews in Europe before the war was 8.8 million, and then after the war there were only 2.8 million Jews left in Europe. Many of that 2.8 million survivors later developed emotional scarring that would affect them even to this very day.